Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of The Corner Store. It's your boy Gerald Cadet, and I had to put this episode out. I had to talk about what's going on. I've been trying. Well, as you guys know, I've been doing NFL. I tried to do the week one things. I did the prediction. I did the AFC, the NFC for the NFL. So I kind of stirred away from the NBA a little bit, but it's time to talk about the NBA real quick. Big things are happening in the NBA. The Eastern Conference Finals starts tonight. Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals starts, which it shouldn't have even been a Game 7. The Rockets, I probably should just start there with the Rockets. The Rockets, a team I thought would give the Lakers a little bit more of a challenge, lost in 5. Lost, like the last couple of games, they lost like terrible. I think every game. I think Game 4 wasn't the case, but from Game 2 on, they lost in double digits. And now Mike D'Antoni is gone. The Mike D'Antoni era of Houston is over. Houston apparently wants Jeff Van Gundy or Ty Lue as their coach. The thing is with that is that you basically put all of your eggs in one basket. There was a report one time where you guys wanted to offer four first round picks for Jimmy Butler. I believe that was 2 years ago, actually. But still, I think it can work in Houston. I believe it can work in Houston, but it's also because I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan. However, I feel like there needs to be more. I guess no more, enough of the James Harden being the primary focus. Basically something that Kevin McHale, he wanted to stop. He didn't want James Harden to be the primary focus. He actually wanted to give the ball more to Dwight Howard. That's the reason why the whole relationship with James Harden and Kevin McHale soured in the end. But I believe that's the only way this thing could work. You have to have DeMarcus Cousins. I'm just putting his name out there. I'm not saying they need to get him, but you need to have a third person who could just, because James Harden and Russell Westbrook are the same player but different player in terms of they're very ball dominant. However, James Harden, he has the outside shot. He could get a shot anywhere. But Russell Westbrook, I'm thinking it's because of injury, because a lot of his explosiveness, especially watching the Lakers series, it's gone from Russell Westbrook. So Russell needs to develop a better game now. And I believe having a guy inside like a DeMarcus Cousins you could just feed him, and then teams are gonna have to double team him in the post, pass it out to Harden. Russell Westbrook could do backdoor cuts for dunks, easy layups. Offensively, I feel like that's the case. Defensively, they still have Robert Covington, they have PJ Tucker. Do not let go of those guys. Those guys are a rarity in the NBA nowadays. There is no more good defenders in the NBA. Maybe you have a few. I like Marcus Smart. I was gonna say Pat Beverly, but I'm gonna get to him in a second. Who else? Marcus Smart is the only. Drew Holiday. You have a finite amount of guys who could. You just tell them, here, that's the best player. You stop him. You contain him for the night. But the Rockets have that in PJ Tucker and Robert Covington. I'm not saying that those guys are lockdown defenders, a la Tony Allen, but those guys are gonna, and we saw it in the Lakers series. Those guys are gonna make people like LeBron or AD work a little harder than normal. In the Portland series, AD wasn't working. He was just giving it to Nurkic and Whiteside. He worked a little bit with 6'5" PJ Tucker on him. LeBron, he worked a little harder whenever Robert Covington was on him, instead of when in the first round you had Gary Trent Jr. on him. So keep those pieces, Rockets. But I feel like the thing is, if James Harden is serious about winning, he needs to give that ball up. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. If you see, but the thing is with Russ, he's shown that he could give that ball up. He let James Harden do his thing this season. Hey man, the Houston era is over. Houston made it to the to the Western Conference Finals, blew a 3-1. Was it a 3-1 lead? Maybe I don't want to say 3-1, 3-2. They had a chance to close out Golden State. Game 6 Clay came out. They went 0 for 27 in threes the next year. Kevin Durant is out. These guys cannot take down the Warriors. Steph and Clay come out, finish them in 6. This year, no more Steph and Clay. No more Steph and Clay in their way. They go to 7 with OKC. Chris Paul led OKC. And they just get demolished in 5 from the Lakers. It wasn't anything, to be honest with you. It wasn't anything. So that's Houston. Now I'm gonna go to the East real quick. I'm gonna take a pit stop in the East because the East is very interesting to talk. It's important to talk about the East, and it's what we are about to witness for this next week will be amazing. I'm on record saying this will probably be the best Eastern Conference series, maybe top 2, because I really love the Toronto series, this past series with the Boston Celtics. But I believe that I should cut that out, but I ain't. I believe that Miami versus Boston is this old mantra that a lot of, I guess, billionaires or like I guess parents say it too. Leaders, a lot of people that say this. Sometimes we don't know what we want. Sometimes we don't know what we want until we are given it. It sounds a little, bad, but in this case, it's true. I could ask 10,000 people on the streets right now if I go to Manhattan or anywhere in New York. Could ask 10,000 people, and I believe maybe 10 people, so 1%. So 10 people would tell me they wanted to see a Celtics Miami Heat Eastern Conference series. It was either Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly. I'm gonna go back to early on to the season. Brooklyn, Philly. Nobody wanted the Jimmy Butler led Miami Heat in the conference finals. Nobody even projected that. I know I didn't project that. I was looking at my NBA preview for this past season. I understandably, the whole virus situation happened, but I had Miami as a team in the bubble. When I said team in the bubble, they're not there yet. They can't be a legitimate contender. I literally had them in that bubble type of thing. They're not bad, but they're not good enough to be a contender. And here we are, contenders. They're 4 games away to making the NBA Finals. Miami during the bubble have been amazing. They've been the most, I guess, maybe top 3 well-knit teams. I have them, Denver, and actually Boston, and you could say Toronto. You can see that the team is cohesive. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows where they have to go. Everybody knows what to do. You can't break them down psychologically, which is what the Lakers did to Portland and to Houston, especially Houston more so than Portland. Miami, they're averaging 112 points per game. This is the postseason now. They average 112 points per game, 46% from the field, and this is a big stat, 38% from 3. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, 2 guys who are lighting it up from the 3-point line. Amazing. You also have Bam Adebayo, a Giannis-like player. He could give you triple dubs every day. He could a point forward. That's exactly what Bam is. You also have Jimmy. Kendrick Nunn, I believe, is coming off the bench right now. You have Jay Crowder, defender. A plethora of good, young, nasty talent. When I say nasty, I mean like they gritty. They get after you defensively. And when listening to their listening to, I guess, interviews and whatnot with Miami Heat players talking, they kept saying this, that they're all getting their mindset, their characterization from Jimmy Butler. The team is what Jimmy Butler is. And watching the games, like watching the way Miami operates, it is literally a Jimmy Butler team. Tough nose. Yeah, they're going to make mistakes here and there. And then, yeah, they're going to make big shots here and there. That's Jimmy Butler. That's Jimmy Butler's whole career. So now for Miami to win the series, right? Two players, one or you could say one of these two players have to be, I don't want to say necessarily the best player. Well, one of the players have to be the best player, but they have to put their imprint on each game. And those players are, of course, Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler is the one I'm alluding to saying that in saying that he needs to be the best player on the court for those 4 games. The 7 games, because I think this is going 7. He needs to be the best player. And Goran Dragic, the Dragon, they're the keys for Miami to have success and make it to the NBA Finals. During the bubble, during the postseason, both players are averaging 21 points per game. But a lot of those players have had monster games. Jimmy Butler multiple times against Indiana had monster games. Goran Dragic had in the Milwaukee series had games of 27 points, 23 points. He averaged 22 points in the whole Indiana series. Against Boston, Goran Dragic, he's basically averaging 21 points again on 47% shooting. Goran, if Goran starts going up, and the big thing with Goran, the reason why Goran needs to go off is because that makes Kemba have to work. Kemba's gonna have to play a lot of defense in this series because if Goran Dragic is off, you could just have Kemba on Goran, but Goran Dragic is on. Tyler Hero, I have a lot of respect for him now. This man is never off. If you have him, you have to play defense on him. Duncan Robinson, he's a runner. He's a runner. He's gonna try and run. A bunch of pin down screens are coming at you. A lot of bodies, a lot of misdirection plays are coming at you. You're gonna get tired, and that's gonna make sure that's gonna basically hinder your offensive game because you're focused so much on stopping those guys from not scoring on one side of the court that is gonna mess you up on the other side of the court due to fatigue. Boston's now just coming out of a 7-game series. A tough 7-game series against Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors team minus Kawhi, but they still are. They were the defending champions. We're gonna have new champions now. Now, when it comes to Jimmy, like I said, Jimmy needs to be the best player for those 7 games, or I guess the 4 games, the 4 wins that they should get. Jimmy has multiple times, especially this season, has said people are coming at him like he's not a good player, that he's not a great player. I think Jimmy Butler's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. But Jimmy Butler, I don't know your middle name, but Jimmy Butler, it's your time. You have the shot now to propel your team to the NBA Finals. You have a shot now for people to be like, hey, maybe Jimmy Butler is top 5 in this league. It's up to you, my man. It's up to you. Jimmy going up against Boston. The Boston and Miami series was 2-1 in favor of Boston. Jimmy this year was 28.5 points on 53% shooting from the field. But more importantly, this man was 43% from three-point. One of the big question marks at the beginning of the playoffs was Jimmy Butler's inefficiency at three-point at the three-point line. It was about 27% from three throughout the season, but against Boston, apparently he was always he couldn't miss. 43% is like awesome. The big thing with Jimmy that I've been loving from the playoffs has been his ability to get free throw attempts, to get to the line. He has had games where he's had games where he's had 20, 19, and 18 free throw attempts. Not even free throws or free throw mades. Free throw attempts, having that many free throw attempts is crucial. He's a good to great free throw shooter, about 85% for the season. But being able to just draw fouls and get to the line, especially if you're down, you stop the clock, you're getting easy baskets. Or the other way, you have the lead. Teams are playing extra hard to shorten that lead. You drive in, you be aggressive, you foul. Even though you stop the clock, you start extending the lead. Like it's kind of like a slow death that comes in, which is what Jimmy Butler is all about. To be honest with you, he wants to beat you down slowly. He doesn't want to. I'm gonna use a Call of Duty term. Quick scope you. He doesn't want to quick scope you, but he wants to hit you with that melee. That's what he wants to hit you with. But that's Miami. That's Miami. Let me go to Boston. Boston. When it comes to Boston, I have 3 questions for Boston. Before I look at their stats, I have 3 questions for Boston. What do you do when Gordon Hayward? When Gordon Hayward comes back, how do you implement him back onto the team? He was gone, I believe, game 2, game 3 of the Philly series. Gone game 2 or game 3 of the Philly series. So if it was game 2, you had 3, 4, and then all of 7. So that's 9 games. If it was game 2, you have 10 games. 10 games without Gordon Hayward. I know Brad Stevens loves Gordon Hayward, and Brad Stevens is quick to bring Gordon Hayward back into the rotation. But is it the right thing to do? Especially at this time. You have Ojale playing well. You have Williams playing well. Grant Williams is playing well as well. That's a tongue twister. You have all these bench players playing well. Now that you're gonna go implement Gordon Hayward back in, what does that mean for those guys who they're starting to get their rhythm now? Them losing minutes, I understand that they don't give the production that Gordon Hayward's giving, that Gordon Hayward would give, but the continuity. Because now, the biggest thing about this bubble, the thing that this bubble has taught me personally is if your team is not fluid, is not in tune with each other, that's when things like starts to hit the fan. Examples, Philly loses Ben Simmons. This team was in flux. This team could not really do anything. You just had Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid is not that type of player to say, here, I could take over this game. I could do whatever Ben Simmons did, this and that. You have the Portland Trailblazers. Zach Collins was meant to be the primary defender on Anthony Davis. He gets hurt. He's out for the season. We really don't know. Like, we really can't do this and that. Continuity has been the biggest thing. That's the reason why you have the Lakers on top, Boston is here, and Miami's here. The 3 most well-oiled teams in the bubble left. So I said Gordon Hayward, Kemba has to defend. I alluded to this earlier. Kemba, if Goran Dragic is playing well, Kemba's gonna have to defend. Kemba can't be I guess, scapegoated. Yeah, no. That's the wrong word. He can't be hid. He can't be hidden. Because what? You going to put him on Ben Adebayo? Just, Bam just goes in the post. Easy buckets. Tyler Hero, like I said, he's not off. Duncan Robinson, even though if Duncan Robinson might go, let's say 2 for 9 from 3-point line, the whole time on offense, the defender is running with him. So that's gonna get you tired. And my last question, and this is a big question. Can Jason Tatum be the outright, he could have been, but can Jason Tatum be outright the best player on the floor? Jason Tatum, to everybody, myself included, he has become the best player in Boston. We are waiting for him to ascend to start jacking that he's a top 10 player in the league or top 15 player in the league. Can Tatum and his excellent game, when I say excellent, this game is fire. Can he now raise his level of play? Instead of, he's averaging about, I believe he's averaging in the postseason about 28 points a game. Can he make that 32? 4 more points. Tatum versus Miami. He's giving up 3.5 points, 3.5 turnovers in the 3 games. 3.5 turnovers. Only scoring 21 points on 40% shooting, with 23% from the 3. This is how I'm gonna say that again. 23% from the 3. This man averages 40% from the 3. 40%. And then against Miami, he's down to 23%. That's alarming. That's alarming if I'm a Boston fan. If Jalen doesn't if he's not the outright best player, he still has some help. He has the guy that always has his back. Practically should be his best friend in Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown against the Heat, 24 points, 40% from the 3. When he is between 30 to 38% 3-point shooter, give or take. So you always have Jalen, because I said this before. I think Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to be the next Stephen Clay in terms of that duo will be the best duo in the NBA pretty soon. But there's games where there's games where Steph is like, okay, I need to be the outright best player in the game, and he does that. Same thing with Klay Thompson. Both of them are able to do that. This is the time. These guys ain't young no more. These guys have been to 2 of the last 3 Eastern Conference Finals. Which one is gonna say, "Hey, man, let me take over. I'm gonna be the guy that takes us to the finals"? Which one is gonna be? I think Tatum has a better skill set to do that. Jaylen Brown, but I'm not. That's not knocking Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, I feel like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are kind of on the same level. I'll choose Jason Tatum if I was trying to franchise. I'll choose Jason Tatum over Jaylen Brown. But Jaylen Brown ain't no slouch. He could do that himself too. However, that's something that needs to happen, because both teams, Miami and Boston, they're evenly matched. And I always go back to this. A lot of people try to say that basketball is a team game and whatnot. Yes, it is a team game. But there comes a time you play a team that is exactly on your team's level. How do you break the tie? The way you break the tie is your best player shows their best player that he's the best on this court. And that's what Jason Tatum needs to do in these 7 games. So now, who am I picking? This is tough. Like I said, I did not know I wanted this series, but I'm happy. I'm glad I have this series. I'm glad I'm going to be able to watch this series. It's going 7. I said that already. It's going 7. But I have Boston winning in 7. A seven tough games. I have Boston winning. Mainly because I think Boston overall is a better team than Miami. That's where it comes down to. I believe Boston overall is a better team than Miami. It's not by that much. That's how awesome this series. That's how awesome the series is going to be. It's not by that much. However, I just think you have Marcus Smart, you have Ojale, you have Williams, you have Tatum, Brown, Tice, Gordon Hayward's coming back for sure in this series. Kemba. And I'm not gonna say Wanamaker, but he does his job for his role. Miami has Hero, Nunn, Olynyk, Robinson, Jimmy, Goran Dragic, Bam, Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder. Oh my gosh, just like thinking about it is I'm ecstatic for this game. However, for game 1, I think Miami takes it. Boston, even though they kind of had, a good amount of rest, they've just been through a rough series with Toronto. So much heartbreak. That .5 shot. Was it Norman? No. Kyle Lowry with that turnaround fade game 6. I think Miami takes the first game tonight. Let's say a score of like 112 to 106. That's the same score that Miami beat them by in the bubble this back in August, actually. I believe like the last week of August. The last week before the playoffs started, they played. And yeah, I have Boston winning the series in 7, but Miami wins tonight 112-106. I think that's the final score of the game. Now, like I said, I had to take a detour from the East. Let me go back to the West. For months, I have said this NBA trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy, is the Clippers to lose. For months, I've said that. And it's looking like tonight, the Clippers lose their Larry O'Brien trophy to the Denver Nuggets. Having Denver down 3-1. Blowing 2 16-point leads. Clippers, what's going on? What's going on? I just don't understand. You guys have the best team in the NBA, the best player in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard, the best, I guess. I think I'll pick AD over Paul George, but top 3 best second players on the team in Paul George. You supposedly have a lockdown guard defender in Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley needs to shut his mouth forever, man. He has his mouth shut right now because they're losing, but watch when they win, he's going to be all rah, rah, rah. He's going to say what he said. He said that the Warriors opening game. So when the Warriors opened up Chase Arena, and then they blow out the Warriors the first game, and then you have the soundbite where he's like, "Hey, where y'all going? Where y'all going?" He's a front runner. Pat Bev, he's a front runner. This man had 6 fouls, 18 minutes, man. What the? 6 fouls, 18 minutes, Pat Bev. And you had the nerve, the audacity to talk about people flopping. You have 6 fouls in 18 minutes. You didn't even put up, you had 2 points? 2 points? Fouled out 18 minutes? A foul every 3 minutes, bro? Shut up forever, Pat. Shut up forever right now. Until you win the championship, you can't say nothing. Because you're the reason why Nikola Jokic, the Joker, is going off. You're the reason why Denver is going off. Now, I'm not solely blaming it on you, Pat, but your mouth is starting to get you in a lot of trouble right now. Especially since you're not backing none of the stuff you're saying out. Kawhi Kawhi, where's the Kawhi from Toronto? You had this kind of problem in Toronto. You need to just step it up. Paul George, you're there, but I don't look at how many points you do at the end of the game. I look at when your points are made. In terms of, you could have 30 points. And what's the name has showed us this? Giannis, AD. Giannis had a game where he had 24 points at half. Finished the game with 28. Yeah, overall, to 28 points, especially in this league, it's hard to get. You got 24 in the first half, though, but you only get 4 in the second half. Paul George, you need to understand that fourth quarter, you got to be a dog too, man. Don't just leave it to Kawhi. You got to be a dog as well. Marcus Morris, I got nothing to say to you. It seems like the only team you like playing against is the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know why. Lou, you ain't been the same since Magic City. What happened? You fell in love with a girl in there? So I gotta say, the Clippers, it's over. I made a bet, about to lose $200, but it's over, Clippers. Denver's gonna win. I kind of think Denver's gonna win convincingly too tonight. I like watching the body language on Sunday. I don't see a team that wants it, that's hungry enough for it. I see a team that's just like, oh my God, we got to do this again. Yeah. If it's because of you guys got to do this again. So Denver, welcome to the Western Conference Finals. Please just make it hard on the Lakers. That's it. That's all I ask for. Because the Lakers have you guys down 3-1. You guys ain't coming back. I'm gonna let y'all know that. That's it. I had to get that off my chest because I'm very disappointed in the Clippers. I just thought the Clippers. I don't know what to say about the Clippers. Let me just change the topic because I'm a little disappointed. I'm not even a Clippers fan. I'm a Knicks fan, but I guess I picked the Clippers as my team to watch once the Knicks start doing their thing, their yearly thing. So now I'm gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about Hard Knocks. This season of Hard Knocks had, for the first time ever, 2 teams on it. That the Hard Knocks people were, I can't think of the word, but it was 2 teams on the show. It was the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams. I really believe this was probably one of the best seasons of Hard Knocks ever. With what's going on in the real world, seeing all the technology the NFL has in place to keep their season alive, it's like amazing. They have like a self-awareness temperature monitor. So like if you're above 99 degrees, it starts to beep. You have the tracking device where like if you get close to 6, if you bridge the 6 feet, if you break the 6 feet, it starts to beep. And then like it tells like when it happened, who were you with at the time. So like that's basically I guess preventative thing for COVID. What else? There's so much stuff. Like it just this season was it was fun to me. There's a lot of boring parts. Also, how the players felt during the whole social activism things. You seen when Sean McVay saw the video of, I believe it was the guy from Rochester, I can't think of his name, Jacob Blake. When Jacob Blake got shot 7 times, his first reaction. Seeing how Anthony Lynn, and I'm about to speak about Anthony Lynn because he said something very profound, which and this should be the mantra for every team. It should be, you know how Notre Dame, one of their big things is that like they always have to tap the play like a champion thing. I feel like everybody in the NFL needs to have this sign on everywhere. I'm gonna talk about it in a few seconds, but all the things that we have been going through as, I guess, normal or regular people, this season of training camp has showed us that the NFL players are going through the same stuff, which goes along with NFL players are just like us. Celebrities are just like us. So if we understand that they're just like us, we don't have to put them above or on a pedestal like us. Okay, yeah, they're getting paid millions of dollars to do something like awesome, but still, like, at the end of the day, you could come up to them. You don't have to be like, you know, if you don't put yourself on a standard that you put on an NFL player or NBA player or any celebrity, why degrade that celebrity for making a mistake that you don't put yourself? You'll say, oh yeah, I would have done that. Doesn't make no sense. Other things about Hard Knocks is Aaron Donald is by far hilarious. There's so many examples. I finished watching the last episode. He was clowning the D lineman. He was like, oh, you trying to get your 3 minutes to shine on Hard Knocks? And then he clowns him, says that, oh, they're gonna put this at the end credits. That thing is jokes. The whole thing when he put the Scully on his head, he was like, how do I look? I don't look ugly, I look different. It's just, the way he said it is just hilarious. Also, Sean McVay is officially John Gruden Jr. If you guys don't know how John Gruden acts, just put on Sean McVay tape and put on his sound effects. He has a sound effects on YouTube. You go on YouTube and look it up. If you put his sound effects on and you put Sean McVay sound effects on, you're not, and then you close your eyes, you're not gonna know which one is which. I mean, you might know, the voices are a little bit different, but the way that they get riled up, the way that they call their plays, the complexity of their play calling, it's all there. It's all, both of them are the same. And it's ironic that John Gruden was last year's coach for Hard Knocks, and he's this year's coach. But I just thought about that. It just came up in my head. Now, last, I have so much of an appreciation for Anthony Lynn. I think if the Chargers were to fire him, which I see it coming, but I don't know when it's coming. But he's been dealt a terrible hand. Phillip Rivers, injuries, the whole nine. Been dealt a terrible hand. But when he's had his team 12-4 and made it to the divisional round. When we're saying that, I'm saying that Andy Lynn, he has the father figure aspect, he has the head coaching aspect. He's a coach that you want to fight for. Sean McVay's the same. But Sean is more so like a player's coach. He's practically the same age as most of the guys. I think Andrew Whitworth is older than Sean McVay actually. But Anthony Lynn, he's just a different type of coach. Like I would love to play for Anthony Lynn. And Anthony Lynn at the beginning, the very first episode of Hard Knocks, he says this. I'm paraphrasing it, but he says this: "How we handle the virus will determine our season." That is 100% true. How players in the NFL handle the virus will be how the champion. No. I'm gonna say it like this: whoever handles the virus the best wins the Super Bowl this year. And when I say handle the virus, I don't mean strictly, we're not trying to get COVID. We're not trying to get the numbers to spike on our team. What I'm saying is, we have seen it with week 1 injuries. A lot of hamstring injuries. The way you practice, the way you stretch, the decisions that you make off the field, of course. All those things coincide with what's going on. The reason why there's a lot of hammy injuries is because there was no preseason. There was no real reps. There was just, 4 seconds they blow the whistle automatically to make sure that nobody gets hurt. The reason why there's a lot of injuries is because of the preseason and it's not live. Practice is never live. So all those things put together, plus yes, of course, trying to be safe during this time is paramount. But whoever does it the best will win the Super Bowl. And I'm a firm believer. You could be the best team. The best team on paper right now, you could say, arguably, is the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs do not handle what goes along with the virus properly, they will not win the Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. But yeah, I recommend Hard Knocks. Probably the best season I've ever seen. So, guys, what do you guys think about Hard Knocks? The Clippers, oh my God. And the Boston Celtics Miami Heat series. I'm just trying to start the conversation. I'm giving you guys what I think. What do you guys think? Comment down below if you're on YouTube. Remember, guys, every Wednesday, starting tomorrow, actually, every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, or let's say 3 p.m. It's going to be every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Remind yourself that I will put out my NFL recap and preview podcast episode. I have my picks. I'll have what I saw this past weekend, what I expect for this past weekend, and we're just going to have fun on that. We're just going to have fun. Guys, it's Gerald Cadet. I'm just trying to start the conversation. This is the Corner Store, and I'm out. Peace.